We may only be 1 week into Batmay 2023, but Batgirl Returns already marks the end of an era for Batman the Animated Series. This was the final episode produced for the original run of the show, and it was the last time we saw or heard a lot of aspects that made the series what it was, including some characters, voice actors, and of course, this particular design style. Was this installment a good send-off for this version of the legendary animated program? Let's re-examine and find out. Bruce Wayne is out of the country on company business, leaving Robin and Batgirl to fend for themselves in protecting Gotham. Bored studying for her midterms at Gotham State University, Barbara Gordon decides to investigate the recently stolen priceless jade cat from a university museum. To her surprise, she finds Catwoman at the scene, conducting her own investigation. Claiming she didn't steal the jade cat, Catwoman and Batgirl almost get into an altercation before Robin shows up to escalate the situation. Selina Kyle then quickly flees the museum. The next day, after gymnastics practice, Barbara finds a cat-shaped note on the message board. It reads, "To the Winged Mouse, Bayshore Pier, tonight." That evening, Catwoman proposes a team-up to find the priceless statuette. Batgirl only agrees after Selina consents to turning herself into the authorities if Barbara finds out she's lying. They shake on it and begin the hunt. Their first stop? The Stacked Deck, a sleazy dive that may just have the information they need to find their thief. Melissa Gilbert played Batgirl/Barbara Gordon for the final time here. I thought she was a decent enough choice for the character, and I appreciate how she made her voice a little deeper when Babs had the cowl on.
Math. Why did it have to be math?
Catwoman, I presume.
She did not return in the Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero feature or any other DCAU project after this episode, being replaced by the late Mary Kay Bergman, and after that, Tara Strong, Stockard Channing, and Angie Harmon. But her legacy within this show is well preserved in her 6 installments. Teaming up to write the finale here were Michael Reeves and Brynne Stephens. They worked together previously on Sideshow. Stephens once again returned for a Batgirl-centric story, this time with Catwoman co-leading. All 7 of her episodes were memorable and had a bit of a different tone to the writing style. My personal favorite is still probably her first 2-parter, Heart of Steel. I've brought up Michael Reeves a bunch in these videos. He had a hand in writing some of the best installments of the series and did a great job with this one. Outside the show, in addition to co-writing Mask of the Phantasm and Mystery of the Batwoman, he also has a story credit in an issue of the Batman Adventures comic series. Appropriately, the last episode produced was directed by Dan Reba. This was the 10th show he helmed overall, and 6th in the 2nd season alone. Considering how involved he was in the DCAU moving forward, this ended up being a good choice. We can give him credit for some of the fantastic looking sequences that occur throughout, but the animation itself may very well be the true star of Batgirl Returns. As they were with almost every other Season 2 episode, Dong Yang was responsible for the animation. But this might very well be their finest looking work, because some of these scenes are gorgeous. Casual facial expressions and body movements pop off the screen with energy, especially for Catwoman. But the action pieces really stand out too. The fluidity and crisp quality they exude are stunning. Even the shadow work is taken to another level, especially inside the stacked deck. I'm not sure if they knew this was the last episode of the series and they put extra effort in or what, but the results are phenomenal. Everyone involved here deserves credit, from the storyboard and background artists to all who worked on it from Dong Yang. This really is a top-tier looking episode. In a similar way, Harvey Cohen killed it with his music composition, jumping around from character theme to character theme seamlessly and creating an impressive score that made all these scenes even more exciting and dramatic. I always enjoy the Batgirl theme, so hearing that mixed with cues for Catwoman and Robin was really fun. Plus, there's one particular movement that I really loved. Isolated, this little sequence honestly could have been a Superman theme. I suppose we should talk about the opening dream sequence, where Batgirl almost kisses Batman. It starts off with another superbly animated confrontation featuring the Dark Knight, Penguin, Joker, and Two-Face. Before Barbara is woken up by Dick Grayson outside her dorm room window, we see that Miss Gordon clearly already has a thing for Batman. Now, this could have just been a crush that faded over time, but since this continuity kept going, you can consider this foreshadowing, for better or worse. One small question I had was how Catwoman knew to leave a note for Batgirl outside Barbara's gymnastics class if she doesn't know her true identity. She could actually know, I guess, but I'm pretty sure she'd be acting differently if she knew she had the police commissioner's daughter jumping off rooftops with her.
The cops are a joke, especially that senile fool, Gordon.
I'm assuming Selina deduced Batgirl is a gymnast on the GSU campus and just left the note there in hopes the girl behind the bat would see it. After squeezing some info out of a criminal known as the Chemist, Catwoman and Batgirl get into a bar brawl with the unscrupulous clientele at the stacked deck. The police soon show up and chase the pair until the women make a risky getaway. Catwoman follows their new lead to the abandoned Daggett Industries chemical factory, where they find the Jade Cat in a safe. Unfortunately, Roland Daggett and a few of his thugs are there waiting. Daggett admits he stole the Jade Cat in an attempt to throw the cops off his trail and onto Catwoman's. After his last encounter with Batman, Daggett's legal fees drained him of his entire fortune. Selling the statuette is supposed to replenish his wealth in an attempt to regain power in Gotham. Before he has the girls killed, Robin enters the fray again, and another battle ensues. This leads to Catwoman besting Daggett and running off with the Jade Cat, proving she just teamed up with Barbara in order to get the statuette herself. Batgirl is able to catch up with Kyle, though, and recovers the invaluable prize. Keeping to their deal, Catwoman agrees to turn herself in. As the police drive her away, she suddenly takes over the vehicle and boots the cops from it.
I said I'd let them take me, but I didn't say how far.
Batgirl and Robin watch as she gets away, promising a future confrontation where Selina Kyle will face proper justice.
No! If you let him fall, you're no better than he is. Oh, grow up.
Catwoman and Batgirl's odd couple dynamic is what works most about this story. It proves even more that Barbara had the integrity to be in this for the long haul. She probably even had more potential than Robin to be an effective crime fighter. That's something you can argue was proved later on in this timeline. The inclusion of Roland Daggett's swan song was another stroke of strong storytelling from Reeves and Stevens. I love the dialogue references to that same building being the place where Daggett invented the facial cream that turned Matt Hagen into Clayface, and where he developed the virus from cat scratch fever. I always remember Daggett as a bigger presence on the show, but he was only in 7 episodes total. While he would not show up again in the DCAU, his late great voice actor, Ed Asner, would. When you think about it, Daggett was one of the most morally bankrupt antagonists Batman fought in this series. He was a ruthless businessman with the power to fight the Caped Crusader and Bruce Wayne while ruining countless lives in the process. His downfall being explained was appreciated, and we saw him taken down for the final time, but not without a few good lines first.
So what are you going to do? Leave us hanging over one of these vats with acid burning through the rope?
You crime-fighting types are very resourceful. So I'll just have my men shoot you and throw your bodies into the vats. There's still enough acid residue in them to destroy the evidence.
On a final note, I love how they slipped in the Captain Marvel Shazam villain design for Dr. Savannah as the Chemist character. A nice reference that was apparently on purpose and brought a smile to my face. Batgirl Returns isn't the absolute best episode we ever got, but it's important for many reasons, and if you're a fan of the show, it's a must-watch. And with that, Batmaniacs, we close out the reviews for the first run of Batman the Animated Series. When I think of the DCAU version of this character, these designs, this world, and this vibe is what always comes to mind first. Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Lauren Lester, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., and plenty of other voice actors and behind-the-scenes folks carried on with a ton more Batman adventures, but in my opinion, nothing ever topped these 85 episodes on the whole. They're quite simply brilliant. With that out of the way, who's ready to talk some more Batman? Next time, we kick off a new era with the new Batman Adventures. See you then.